what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Star with BrickWall Reviews. If y'all heard what I just said and y'all felt that energy, y'all got hype, y'all say, I recognize that too. And that is because right now I am going to be talking about The Incredibles. This year marks 20 years of Incredibles, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. And I'll get a little bit more into that statement as I continue with this review. But hey, welcome. All right, welcome. Yo, welcome to another Star with BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and I've already told y'all what I'm talking about. The Incredibles, once again, The Incredibles is the 20th anniversary. Matter of fact, it was just a few days ago, actually, was the actual official 20th anniversary of The Incredibles. Before I get into this, though, I want to remind you guys, go hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, and let's get into the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Let's go. All right, let's do this. So, The Incredibles! This was the 2004 big Pixar release that just has sent waves throughout not just animation community, not just the Pixar lovers community, not just the Disney lovers community, but the superhero genre in general. All right, this was like, I remember this movie coming out. I remember the teaser trailer where it showed like the phone call ringing, and Mr. Incredible picked it up, and the score was like dun, 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 and he put on the mask like showtime, but he couldn't get his belt to buckle because he was too fat. And I remember all that. I'm coming soon. I remember that. I remember the first official trailer for this. I remember all the marketing behind this. I remember The Incredibles was a moment because this came out at a time where we didn't have a bunch of superhero movies. Superhero movies was a niche corner in the entertainment community, right? And to have an animated superhero movie that was based off an original property was just something completely. I love this movie. I remember loving this movie so freaking much. I had the DVD, 2-disc DVD. Disc 1 was the movie and some special features, but disc 2 loaded with special features, man. Short films, behind the scenes extras. You got deleted scenes, all types of stuff. I remember this movie was hilarious. And of course, everybody remembers the golden part of this movie. Honey, where's my super suit? What? Where is my super suit? Why do you need to know? Don't tell me what I saw this movie. I'm talking about the greater good. I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get. I remember that. Like, this movie is so freaking iconic, man. Like, all right, so, and because I love this movie so much, and I took some time to think about this, I've done something I seldomly ever do, right? And I have prepared a statement. I prepared a statement, and I'm going to read this statement, and we're going to go from there. We're going to get into the actual review. I have hyped this up enough. Let's read my statement I made. The Incredibles is not just one of the greatest animated movies of all time, nor just the greatest Disney or Pixar film of all time. It's one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, which says a lot because it comes from a time where superhero movies weren't nearly as popular, took a lot of creative liberties, and were more willing to and able to make original characters because IP wasn't as important as creativity. Again, I want to say that one more time. IP back in 2004, as much IP as we had lying in 2004, of course, like I said, we had Shrek, Spider-Man, Lemony Snicket, we had all that different stuff, right? It was not as important as creativity. The Incredibles is what a team-based superhero movie and an animated movie could and should be. It's as fresh now as it was then 20 years ago in 2004. And I think that this encapsulates how many people, especially me, feel about this movie. It's often said that The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie. And I cannot argue that because the Fantastic Four being a family-based superhero team and the Incredibles being a family-based superhero team, the way they divide the characters, the way they talk, the way they treat the characters is so wonderful. Just even from the first act, the opening of the movie alone, you see so much maturity in this movie. This movie is not your standard kid flick. And again, animation is a medium, not a genre. Okay, so animation isn't just for kids, it's for everybody. It's a way you tell stories. And I will be damned if Incredibles was a movie that proves that point. That it's a movie that proves that point. Like, hey, this is a way we're telling this story. This can be told in any type of way. We chose to tell it animated. And this is the way we're telling this story because it opens up our world and it opens up our the possibilities to do some amazing things. And this movie goes for the amazing things. For those of you who somehow don't know what The Incredibles is about, it's about Mr. Incredible, who is now a retired hero living by his civilian name, Bob Parr. And he, he's just down. He's like, yo, I miss the glory days. Like, I thought I would still be out there doing my thing, but because there was an incident that happened on the night of his wedding that caused superheroes to be banned, he's now living a normal civilian life under like a superhero protection program. And he's with his wife and his 3 kids, Dash, Violet, and Jack Jack. And his wife Helen was also a superhero, Elastigirl. So yeah, it's just how he's adjusting to life. But one day, right, he receives an invitation. He gets fired from his job for one, and then he gets like this invitation to go to this island to help some type of tech billionaire with some type of some type of problem or whatever. He gets there, he gets into a fight with a giant robot, and from there the movie just goes on because like he gets hired by these people. It's so many different things that happens, and it basically leads to him getting back into shape as a superhero and continuing his heroics, while his family, meanwhile, especially his wife, Elastigirl, starts to get a little bit suspicious. And the kids end up getting roped into it, the kids who have powers, mind you, and they all have to live in secret. Like, they can't be out and open about their powers. They have to hold them secret. They have to be quiet about it, right? And it's so interesting the way this movie plays out. Right, you have Frozone played by Samuel Jackson, brilliantly by Samuel Jackson. Like, when Samuel Jackson brings his A game, he brings his A game. Like, Frozone was like one of the coolest characters I saw as a kid. Like, I loved Frozone. Like, it was the part where he was where they were saving the people from the building that was falling down, and they bust into the other building, and it was like a jewelry store. And the alarm went off and everything, and the cop comes in there. He's like, freeze! And like Frozen's like, hold on, I just want a drink of water. He drinks the water, and the water kind of gives him his power back because he couldn't use his ice in the fire because there's no water in the air. He can't use. And it's so funny how he says that line because it's classic Samuel Jackson. There's no water in the air. Like it's so good. Like he gets the water, he drinks it, and the cop's like, all right, you got your water. He said, I know. Freeze. And it freezes them and everything. And there's the visual of the cop having shot the gun and the bullet being frozen on the way to it's so freaking awesome, man. And let's not talk all right, so I'm gonna go through the characters because I love each and every one of these characters. I love Mr. Incredible. I love his story arc. He's so he's the guy. He's the guy. He's strong as shit. And I like that. I love the character arc and storyline that he goes through. He's not incompetent. He's very smart. You can see his resourcefulness. You can see why he was considered probably one of the greatest heroes of his golden age. They don't really get too much into the rankings of the heroes and who was the best hero, who was the worst hero. They don't really get into that, which I do like that they don't. But they do show that it is kind of hinted towards a lot, actually, that Mr. Incredible was that guy. He was the greatest hero. He was someone who was loved by all. And Elastigirl was right there with him. So Elastigirl, Helen Parr, civilian name, I loved her. Man, she was amazing. She as a wife and as a mother who was just trying to hold everything down and just kind of wanting to live the civilian life, especially the juxtaposition of how she wanted to in the beginning when they were doing the superhero interviews and they were younger, you kind of see Helen, she wanted to keep going. She was like, man, I'm not slowing down. I'm going to keep doing my superhero thing until the day I die. And then Mr. Incredible was like, I'd like to settle down one day. Put this all behind me. It wouldn't be too bad. And it's the way they switch places in that, where it's now Mr. Incredible's like, yo, I'm going to get back out there. just one time for the one time, just do my thing. And Elastigirl's like, I like the civilian life. I like this family. I like all this safety, security. I like it. So just seeing them just as parents, as former superheroes, you see all that, and their dynamic is so excellent. Their dynamic is excellent. Plus, what's the girl got that thing on? Yeah, man, you know what I mean. Um, um, I want to talk about the kids. So the kids are really, I love the kids, right? So I'm gonna start with Violet. Violet, she's like your shy girl. She's she's kind of introverted to herself. She's a normal, typical teenager. Her abilities are she can turn invisible and she can make a force field. Um, I like how she comes into being able to use her powers and being comfortable using her powers, especially growing up being told not to use her powers. She's on the side of, hey, mom and dad told us not to use our powers. I'm not going to use them. I use them, yeah, but I don't like the part where she has to cover the jet when the missiles are coming at the jet. She's like, I'm not used to doing this. Like, I can't do this. Like, I've never done this. Mom, you tell me not to use my powers 1 minute, and the next minute we're about to die, and you're telling me to use my powers, and then we're about to die. Like, it's such an intense scene. Oh man, I gotta circle back around to the intensity of some of these scenes in a second. Dash. Oh man, everybody loves Dash. Dash is the speedster of the group. Y'all know me. I love a good speedster. And man, so my favorite moment with Dash in this entire movie, besides the thumbtack thing, don't burning me, the teacher. Bernie, don't you burning me. Coincidence? I think not. Like, oh man, my favorite part. Like, it's so funny. But my favorite moment with Dash is when they're running from the villains in the jungle, and he starts to run on, like, he sees the water, he's running up on the water, and he starts running on water. When he realizes that he is running on water, bro, he turned up. Like, he looked down, so he was running on water. He let out this chuckle, like, he let out this chuckle and just started going. Like, yo, like that. I remember seeing that moment in the theaters. Like, I remember that moment. That's like a moment that's like, Avengers assemble. Like, that's like Cap lifting up the hammer. That was the hype Marvel moments before there were hype Marvel moments. That moment with Dash, brother, I just remember, like, all of us sitting in theaters, we saw that moment. We were like, oh, we were hyped. Like, he really, like, we were like, he's running on water. Like, that has always been my favorite part of the movie. Always, hands down. No other part of the movie beats that part of the movie for me. I love that part where Dash runs on water. And the music in that, hold on, I'm gonna get to that in a second. Jack Jack, the baby. Everybody loves Jack Jack's baby. What can he do? What is his powers? He turns out he's adorable. All that, man. And yeah, so Jack Jack was awesome. You got the villain Syndrome, played by Jason Lee. I know I'm kind of like being fast and loose with naming the cast, but some people I remember who played these roles. Yeah, he did a great job of Syndrome. One of the best lines that Syndrome had is like, Elastigirl? You married Elastigirl? And what's this? Oh, they're too good. Like, come on, man. I love that line reading from him. Syndrome was a great villain. He was just as batshit crazy as it was maniacal, and it worked. Like, his arc worked. He was a star kid. He was a fan of Mr. Incredible, and he just wanted to be a hero. And so he said, fuck it. If I can't be a hero, I'm going to make everybody capable of doing the same thing, and then I'm going to make them need me. Or something like that. His plan, I've always kind of been like a little back and forth on what his plan actually was. It never really like clicked in my head. Even now, even 20 years later, like, what exactly was his uh, intention, his plan?
All right, here we go. All right, I'm back. Yay!
I couldn't really.
Oh, hold on.
I
Now I
couldn't
gotta
really
wait
tell
for
you.
this other guy, other me to shut up. All right, there we go. Hey, I'm back. All right, cool. So, hold on. Let me see. Solo layout, buddy. All right, there we go. So I'm back. Yeah, that's right. I always have backup. I always have backup planned. Okay. So the rest of this movie. So, like I said, Syndrome was awesome. A great villain. Besides that, let's see. Where was I? Where was I? We talked about Frozone. I talked about Syndrome. I talked about the Incredibles and its family. Let me talk about the music, right? So the music, the crescendos, all that stuff. So one of the things that I like about this movie, I love about the movie, is the score. The score by Michael Giacchino, who does so many great movie scores. The Incredibles is no different. Yo, let me tell you. I just sang one of the themes when I came on here, right? There's another one, another musical motif that happens during this movie. It's like I love that one. When Dash is running in the water, the way the music, the crescendo, like the way the music like gets excited, it's the xylophone. Like the music is so, like the music is excellent, and it adds so much intensity to all the scenes, especially the part when they're like, Niner, please stop. There are children on board. Repeat, there are children on board. Like they're like, yo, like come on, man. And this is all off of memory. I love this movie. I love The Incredibles. It's such a good movie. Like I know this movie front to back, mostly for the most part. I know it front to back for the most part. Even the ending with the Underminer, like it was so good. Like this was a great movie. Like this was critically acclaimed, so loved, so beloved, to the point where we got sequels. And that's where it kind of, earlier this year on the Life's BrickWall podcast, we talked about The Incredibles and Incredibles 2 and which one was better and why, if 2 was as memorable as 1. And although we kind of came up to consensus that 1 has more of what you would look for in an Incredibles film and that 2 kind of fumbled the bag, I do like 2. I do think that Incredibles 2 is good. I can see where some of the dry parts stand out more than some of the dry parts in the first one, because it's like a lot of like it's beautifully animated. The action is pretty good, but it's like the first one has all of it, and it's paced very, very well. With the second one, it kind of like it has some here, some there, and then the pacing kind of goes off, and then like the villain reveal isn't really all that. I can agree with that, but again, I still like The Incredibles 2. I still think it's a great movie. I guess in terms of, and I know they're making a third Incredibles too. As a matter of fact, today they officially announced just a few hours ago that they are officially writing the script for Incredibles 3. So I'm hoping that it's good. I'm hoping that they do something really great to blow my mind. The second one didn't really blow my mind. It was just fun to watch, great to spend time with those characters again. But the best way for me to spend time with those characters, I have to admit, is the first Incredibles. If my my laptop didn't die, I would bring up the scores for this, but I'm pretty sure the critical, I'm positive the critical score for The Incredibles is extremely high. Yeah, it's a high score. I'm just gonna go out and say that there. I didn't have my information in front of me, but I know it's like at least a 96, right? And that's just going off the top of my head. If it's not, let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong by that score. But me, 20 years ago, I gave this film a 5 stars. Just in my head, I always held this film to a high regard. 20 years later, bitch, it's still a 5 stars. This is still a 5-star movie. It's still one of the greatest superhero movies. And that's just not me saying it. That is factual information. It is listed on the list of greatest superhero movies of all time. It may not be in the top 10, may not be in the top 20, but it's on the list. It is considered one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Not just animated, not just Pixar, not just Disney. Greatest superhero movie. Like I've said, people would consider this the greatest Fantastic Four movie. That isn't a Fantastic Four movie. The Incredibles is an amazing film. And 20 years ago it was great. 20 years later, it's still great. And I'm sure in the next 20 years after that, it's still going to be just as great. I'm excited for Incredibles 3. I would love to see where they go with it. I really hope that they're able to do something really great, really inventive, and just something worthwhile. I'm thinking a time skip. Let's see an older Jack. Let's see an older Dash. Let's see an older Violet. Like, let's see these characters aged up a bit. I would like to see that. Like, that's the hype that we want to see that. Like, and I just hope that it's able to stay fresh, which so far it has stayed as fresh as it possibly can. Oh, and how can I forget to talk about Edna Mode? Yo, great. Oh, get together. Like, come on, man. And Edna Mode. That's all I have to say. What else can I say? Edna Mode. One of the greatest characters in the movie. This movie is filled with such great characters, such great action moments, such great drama moments, and such great comedy moments that are there sprinkled in with that throughout. It's a great movie. I can go on and on about how great this movie was, but come on, 20 years of The Incredibles. It's been amazing. Directed by Brad Bird. How can I forget? Brad Bird is the GOAT for this. Like, come on. This is an amazing movie. Fun fact about this movie too. So all the other Pixar movies, they're usually thought of in-house, which means like all the Pixar creatives, they sit down, they all think of an idea, then they make the movie. The Incredibles is the only Pixar movie that was bought in from outside. Brad Bird had that idea and bought it to Pixar and said, you guys want to help me make this movie? And they said yes. And that was the best decision I think they could have made, hands down. So, guys, where can you watch The Incredibles if you want to get yourself re-hyped on the movie like me? It's on Disney Plus, of course. Make sure you guys check it out. 20 years. Happy 20th anniversary to The Incredibles. Great film. Really excited. Glad I got to talk about it. And trust me, there are way more movies that I have to talk about for the rest of these 20th anniversaries that I'm really excited to talk about. And trust me, some of them I'm going to be more excited than this, but I'm glad that you guys tuned in. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button down below. Comment, what is your favorite moment from The Incredibles? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. All those things on the ticker down below. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, be easy, stay breezy, be incredible. Dun, 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 dun. All right, that's it. I got it. All right. Be easy, stay breezy. Peace.